What's good, YouTube family? It's your boy 8ups Picks, and I'm checking back in with another YouTube video. And in today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the end of the season and the awards that we should give out. I'm gonna skip MVP. I've done multiple videos on MVP. Well, like 1.5 videos on MVP, right? So we're gonna skip MVP in today's videos, and I'm just gonna give you guys my predictions on if I had a ballot today. These are the people I would pick and why. So yeah, let me know down below as we go along, man. If I mess anything up, let me know. If you guys think that someone else should win or someone else should win the award or whatnot, just let me know down below in the comments. As we go along, we'll just hop right into it and start giving out some awards. For me, we'll start with the easiest one first, and that's Victor Wembanyama, Defensive Player of the Year. I don't feel like we have to go into a long spiel about this one. Well, actually, the more I think about it, Wemby might not get this award. Wow, he hasn't played. He might not play the 65 game rule. There's 2 games left. He has to play 20 minutes in 2 of them. So, wow, what if Wemby doesn't get this award? I just realized that now because of the 65 game rule. I think he'll force himself to play. I mean, he's kind of been doing that all season. He's been just kind of picking up random games here and there to make sure that he can play. But what if he doesn't play and gets nothing, no accolades at all? This will be weird. Year 3 of Wemby with no accolades, and I think that's mind blowing considering how good of a player he is. But he hasn't hit that 65 game mark yet, so that is a big conversation that for somehow I didn't think of until I pressed record. Wembanyama might not win this award, but if he, we'll pretend like he's gonna hit that 65 game rule, right? Because he deserves the award. This is his award to lose every year, including this one and moving forward. Wemby will have to really botch this to not win this award. And ever since he's came out and gave his MVP spiel, a lot of people are hating on Wemby. They're trying to pull up clips and do that thing where they just start hating on Wemby. This guy is the greatest defensive player I've seen in my whole life, and I've seen a lot of them. I've seen Prime Kawhi Leonard. I've seen Draymond Green. I've seen Rudy Gobert. I've seen these guys. Nothing compares to Wemby. Yeah, Wemby, obviously greatest defensive player I've seen probably ever. And there's no clips, there's no things that you can show me to try to say otherwise. I mean, he's a whole scheme defensively. And when it comes to Wembanyama, like I said, this is his award to lose this year and every year going forward. If he doesn't play the 65 game rule, that would be sickening. And there's going to be some nasty conversations we have to have about Wemby and his health because this would be year 3 with no accolades but Rookie of the Year. Outside of that, though, I mean, if he doesn't win it, Chet Holmgren maybe would probably be my runner-up, but I didn't really even think of a runner-up for this award because Wembanyama is going to win it, and he should. So shout out to Wemby for that. Next, let's dive into some stuff that is a little more controversial. You can kind of go either way on the next couple of these picks, right? We're going to go most improved player, 6th man of the year, coach of the year, DPOY, and clutch player. We're going to give those 5 awards. We obviously already did DPOY. So next up, we'll go, where should we go next? Let's go to most improved player. And this is kind of another easy one. There's a couple different ways you could go with this one. And if you went these directions, I don't know if you'd be wrong, but I just think there's one guy that's ran away with it down the stretch. And that's Nickeil Alexander-Walker, right? I think he's taken a huge step up. This guy was averaging single digits last year on good minutes. He obviously was more of a role player with Minnesota. Now that he's got into Atlanta and settled in, he's obviously their second option, right? I mean, I think scoring-wise, offensively, he might be their first option in Atlanta at this point. Obviously, Jalen Johnson's had a much better season than Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but that's all the way around. That's playmaking, rebounding, defending. That's doing a little bit of everything, right? Noah, for me, is a better scorer than Jalen Johnson. And, I mean, he's doubled his points per game. He went from single digits to over 20 a night. I think he's closer to 21 a night at this point. More rebounds, more assists. All that comes naturally with playing more minutes and having a much larger role, right? Playing alongside of Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, some of these other guys, you're not going to have that big of a role. But you go over to Atlanta, now your time's to shine. And Noah has not only performed better in this role, obviously all of his numbers jumped, right? But to double your points per game on like five or six more minutes a game, insane. More steals, more blocks. But the thing that stuck out to me is his efficiency. He's obviously taking a lot more shots as a result of having this bigger role. And because he's doing that, you would think maybe his numbers dropped a little bit from where he was at. But no, they've actually jumped. True shooting is up. His field goal percentage is up. Everything has jumped. So volume and the role combined, plus the efficiency, that Null has showed this year is just insane. And this guy's getting clean buckets too. Like watching Hawks games have been so much fun down the stretch. They're a really fun team, and they've put together some really good wins. They're a team that I want to watch out for in the Eastern Conference because it kind of gives me a little bit of Pacer vibes, bro. Like, okay, we got the Knicks, we got the Celtics, we got all these teams, but here comes the random Pacers. Like, it gives me a little bit of Pacers vibes from last year. I think they're two different teams, right? It'll take a lot more for the Hawks to get it done, but they have an All-NBA guy in Jalen Johnson. They should be most improved player in Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and the guys around those two come to play every night. You got a vet at point guard with CJ McCollum, who we had some questions when he first got to Atlanta, but now they're winning games and it's working. He's been a great piece for them. You got Onekwe Okongwu, who I love. He can stretch the floor for you, but he's also going to do the dirty stuff and make the right plays. So the Hawks are really fun, man. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker has just improved all year long. Even when Trae Young was there, we saw Null, around that 17, 18-point game mark. Trae Young left, he jumped even higher. He, grew into another role and continued to progress. So Null has been getting better all season long. And at one point, I think this was Jalen Duran's award to win. And at the very beginning of the season, that's why I would have gave it to it. In fact, I did a video on if the season ended today, here's who wins these awards, right? And Jalen Duran was my pick back then, I believe. Null has just been so good down the stretch coming into the end of the season. I think if you look at the betting odds, he's close to like a minus 1,000 favorite to take this home, and rightfully so. So this is another one that if you said Jalen Duran, I'd be okay with it. But I also would feel like Null got robbed a little bit. His advanced metrics have jumped. His usage rate, everything has just jumped for Null. And another thing that is interesting to me about Null is he's 27. We see a lot of younger guys win these awards. Ja Morant wins the award. We see a lot of younger guys win this award, and we got Null, who feels young in the league, and I 27 is not that old. I mean, if I was to call 27 old, I'd be pushing old, right? But Null, he feels like a young superstar in the league, kind of refreshing to see what he's doing, but he's also been in the league a long time. This is like a whole different Nickeil Alexander-Walker, which is actually insane to me. So I think that his role changes was the biggest factor. I mean, his shot volume has doubled, but his efficiency has jumped enough on that to make me feel confident that doubling your scoring average is insane. Averaging over 20 points a game in the league with this kind of opportunity makes me question whether Null is going to be this good the rest of his career. Like, is he going to be this player that we saw this year for the rest of his career? And I really think that he can be. He's shown so many good flashes of him out on the floor, of him being the best player on the Hawks. Alongside of Jalen Johnson. I think that Null can keep this up moving forward, going, through his career. All right, another one that I think we should talk about is Sixth Man of the Year, another big award, a prestigious award, and we've seen guys make careers off of becoming Sixth Man of the Year. So when it comes to this award, if you win it, it's a serious thing, right? Although you're coming off the bench, it means that you're doing things for your team that are helping them win. And you're the best player coming off of the bench in the entire league. That's a majority of the league is coming off the bench, right? So to be the best player coming off the bench for your team means a lot. And I think this year there's two guys it really comes down to at this point. It would be Keldon Johnson and Jaime Jaquez Jr. If I had a hard time picking this one was a tough one to pick, but I do think that Jaime Jaquez Jr. should win the award coming down the stretch. And the reason I think this one was so tough is because Keldon Johnson is on arguably the second best team in the league. Depending on how much you hate OKC, you could say that they're the best team in the league, right? But for me, I think Keldon Johnson just happens to fall into that role. He doesn't really embrace that six-man role from what I've seen out of him. And the Spurs have so many guys off their bench, and they're such a deep unit that it doesn't feel like he's the one leading that unit sometimes. He stepped up in big moments when people are out, and he's come off the bench and done great things. He's right around 23, 24 minutes a game, averaging close to 13. I mean, he's really good at rebounding. Keldon Johnson has always been an underrated rebounder. But I just don't know. For me, I feel like team success shouldn't play in the Sixth Man of the Year as much as it does. But I mean, I feel like Sixth Man should be based off the best player off the bench of any team in the league. And that's why I think I should lean into Jaime Jaquez Jr. because he's going to give you, 30 minutes a night almost. 15, 5, and 5. Like 15, 5, and 5 off the bench on good efficiency is really amazing from Jaime Jaquez Jr. And the Heat have had a lot of injuries this year. They've had a lot of guys miss time, whether it be Norman Powell for 5 or 6 games here, or Tyler Hero for half the year. Bam has missed a little bit of time. Like, these guys have missed games, and the one that stayed consistent and showed up every night was Jaime Jaquez Jr. Obviously, he missed a few games here and there, but for me, just what he did for the Heat represents the 6-man role more than what Keldon did for the Spurs. Jaime Jaquez Jr. will give you the playmaking if you wanted to, but he could also, like the other night, he just put up 30 points. It's like, I don't see Keldon putting up 30. I also don't see him getting close to triple-doubles either. Not that Jaime Jaquez is doing that every night, but coming off the bench, you want to be a volume guy, and you want to be that spark. And also, you want to, if you're a 6-man, doesn't mean you have to end the game on the bench either. There's been plenty of times where I've seen Jaime Jaquez Jr. close out games with the Miami Heat starters and win those games with his teammates instead of going back to the bench. Keldon's not on the floor to end the game for San Antonio, right? As a 6-man, you need to be able to finish those games. If you're hot, if you're scoring well, if you're rebounding, you're doing everything you need to help your team. I feel like you deserve the opportunity to end the game on the floor as part of the best 5 to end the game. Keldon's not doing that. So for me, I just feel like the roles are a little bit different. If you look at team success, definitely obviously give it to Keldon. The Spurs are a much better team. He's coming off the bench and doing great things for a team that is atop the standings. But Jaime Jaquez still they're going to make the play-in, and in the East, who knows, they could even make the playoffs. And he's just had more of a 6-man. I like to see what he's doing more than I like to see what Keldon is doing when it comes to the 6-man of the year. So Keldon is more efficient, right? But he also isn't taking self-created shots or tougher shots. He shoots the 3-ball better. True shooting's a lot higher. You know, Keldon is doing great things, but with not much volume either. The volume is pretty similar in terms of field goals and 3-pointers attempted. Keldon shoot more threes and has a higher efficiency there, so that's important to see. But Jaime Jaquez just feels like a high usage creator versus come out, put ball in the hoop, get a couple rebounds here and there. So I like that point forward role off of the bench, that 15-5 production, creates and runs the second unit. That feels more like a 6-man of the year to me than Keldon Johnson, who's playing more off ball and doesn't create as much for his team. Next up would be, let's go. We'll save Rookie of the Year. We'll talk about that one last because that's a fun one. We'll go Clutch Player of the Year, and this is one that I didn't look into too much. It's always an award that I overlook personally. Not saying that everyone does it or everyone should, but personally I overlook this one a lot. I don't have a ton of stats to back this one up, and I don't really know who's in the running for it. Like, I mean, is Jalen Brunson maybe? I don't know, but I think the clear pick is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Coming down the stretch of the season, he hit those couple game winners back to back, and then 2 games later hit another one, and then he did the push off and got called for that. That was a push off for sure. But Shai, when he plays the fourth quarter, I think is obviously the best player. He's not only Cade Cunningham is another good one. I just thought of Cade. Cade deserves to be mentioned in this award too. He can't even win it. He's not 65 games. Yeah, bro, that's bullshit. That's the second time in this video that's like, okay, that guy could win, but no, he can't actually. Anyways, if Cade's not in it, it's easily Shai's award to win. And I don't want to spend too much time talking on it because, like I said, I didn't prepare a whole lot to talk about it. Just one that came to mind, and Shai obviously is the best player on the court every time he's on the court. And when it's time to close out a game, you know he has the ball, and you know what he's going to do with it. He's going to score. He's going to win the game and take the Thunder to where they need to be. So Clutch Player of the Year is definitely SGA. And after he hit those couple game winners or go-ahead buckets, it feels like a no-brainer. Next one, Coach of the Year. And there's a lot of great coaches to talk about this year. A lot of them, right? You could go JJ Redick if you're feeling a little bold, a little spicy. Joe Mazzulla deserves some respect. They were supposed to be in the bottom half of the East. They're at the top. JB Bickerstaff, amazing option there. Hard to go against JB Bickerstaff, who has completely turned that franchise around, right? And I think that's my pick is JB Bickerstaff, because for me this is kind of about expectation versus reality. And the Pistons weren't supposed to be here. They weren't supposed to be a top 3 seed, and they weren't supposed to be the number 1 seed for sure. So now they're the best seed, and their defensive identity is insane. They've played tough, hard-nosed basketball all year long and just giving people fits night in and night out. And their style of play is going to transform nicely to the playoffs. As long as their non-experience holds up, they're going to be a team to watch out for. I really like this Detroit team, and I feel like JB Bickerstaff deserves a lot of credit from turning this around to be one of the worst teams in the league to something where it feels structured. There's accountability, and there's a system that travels with this team every night. So win improvement over year to year to year. Detroit has made one of the biggest jumps, and their roster is not super, super talented. Obviously, they have two all-star, all-NBA type guys on their team in Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren, but that's not enough to get the 1 seed in the East. Like, you need a great coach at the head of things. So Detroit, I feel like JB Bickerstaff and Detroit deserves to take home this Coach of the Year award. And I'd kind of be a little shocked if he didn't, but there's a lot of options out there. I mean, we didn't even talk about Daigneault. Like, he's just kind of chilling. They won't give it to him again just because we have the best record. There's a lot of options out there for sure. So Bickerstaff would be my choice personally on Coach of the Year. So I think that leaves us with just Rookie of the Year, and this is a really fun one. Really, really fun one for me, and it's two guys from Duke, the only options to win it. Dylan Harper has made a push late. VJ Edgecombe has stuck around all year. Shout out to those guys. They're going to be really, really good in this league moving forward, but this season they haven't been as good as the other two guys, and that's Cooper Flagg and Kon Knueppel. Both have just had insane seasons. I don't feel comfortable taking anything away from Kon here. There's not anything I can really say to go against him. But when it comes to the Rookie of the Year race, I just have to give it to Cooper Flagg, man. I do. And it's because of the role. It's because of the usage. Cooper Flagg is already being treated like a franchise player. He's already taking care of the whole entire offense. He's on a terrible team. He's got the freedom to create. His defensive assignments are the top players. He's making big plays down the stretch. He's doing it on efficiency, like a crazy efficiency. There's just no reason to not give this award to Cooper Flagg, who's had one of the better rookie seasons I've seen in a long time. And it's not going to help Kon's case that Coop just dropped 98 points or some shit in 2 games in a row. He went 51, 47, I think. Something crazy like that. And games that they're trying to win. The Mavericks, I would not look at them as a tanking team. They're just not good, right? They were put in a rough spot to begin the season. Anthony Davis is garbage. I won't get into that too much. Kyrie out. So just really tough spot for the Mavericks to begin with. I never thought they were going to be good, and they weren't. But they have a bright side, and losing Luka Doncic and gaining Cooper Flagg kind of softens that blow a little bit. So Cooper Flagg for me is 100% Rookie of the Year. If they gave it to Kon, I would not be upset by any means. Kon is well deserving of the award himself. But I just feel like he's more playing within an offense. He's got that off-ball gravity, and he's much more efficient than Coop. He's putting up similar numbers in a lesser role, which is good to see, at least scoring-wise, right? So that's nice. He's one of the best pure shooters from a rookie that we've ever seen. And a lot of guys, when they come in, I feel like something that rookies struggle with a lot is stalling the offense. And I've seen that from VJ a little bit, like kind of like a black hole on offense almost. Kon has never been that for the Hornets. He fit right in alongside of 3 other really, really talented players, and Ball, Bridges, and Miller. And he just really plays the game the right way. He has high IQ, doesn't make a ton of rookie mistakes that you would see. He's obviously older, and he came in with a really high floor. That's why he went at 4, is because we knew what Kon Knueppel's floor was, right? He wasn't drafted based on some potential or where he's going to be in the future. He came in kind of with obviously he's going to get better as time progresses, but he came in with a high floor, and that's why the Hornets took him, and he fit it perfectly. When he was drafted, I was kind of like, oh, this feels a little high. Like, there's some other guys out there that, why did we not go to them? But Kon has shut all that up, coming from me, and just is a really, really good player. If he was handed a trophy, I would not be upset by any means. I just think Cooper Flagg is more deserving of it because of his role, what he does, and his defensive ability as well. So it looks great, right? Hard to tell, who's going to be like better long term. Cooper Flagg has an insane ceiling. I think the better role player and one that has really excelled in his role right now is Kon Knueppel. So I don't know. I'm just more of a fan of Cooper Flagg, his archetype, and what he brings to the game and where he's going to be at in the future. And I think this season he's performed well enough. There's no reason he should not get the award. So is that all of them, gang? I think that's all of them. So that's all of the awards right there. Couple close ones, couple not so close ones. Is Wemby gonna play 65 games? And who knows, right? So let me know down below if I missed anybody, if there's someone else you would give the awards to. I feel like at this point there's only a couple candidates for each, but if you're leaning a different way or have some different thoughts, man, let me know down below. We're approaching 100 subscribers. I feel like every video I get 1 subscriber, and that's great. That's a 100% success rate. So let me get another one right now, bro, and we'll get closer to 100. I'll do a giveaway when we get to 100 subs. Make sure to hit that button. Keep tapping in with me, man. Playoffs are here, and we're going to have tons of content rolling out soon for playoffs. So made it this far in the video. As always, I appreciate y'all. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and peace out. See you in the next one.